Hey everyone, it's Amber Love, and I'm here to show you another chair yoga series, and this is a sample of what I'll be doing in convention settings like Garden State Comic Fest, where I will be leading a geek yoga session. And it's really not that the yoga is geeky, it's just that it's yoga for geeks, people who are probably exhausted either from being on their feet all day walking around a convention, or people from their vendor tables who have been stuck in that tiny space and stuck in a chair where they have no room to even stretch. So I want to do geek yoga at the conventions like Garden State Comic Fest in order to give people that chance to get away from their little tiny vendor space and stretch their bodies. So we're going to start by grounding and centering ourselves. The only props that I'm prepared to use for this, and that's simply because of my chair. I have blocks. I have a strap that isn't particularly necessary, but I have it here I'll show you how to use it. So because I'm short and this chair is a little bit higher than my hips, there are times when I'm going to prop up my feet. So what you want when you're grounding and centering yourself is you do want to feel points of contact. So in this case, in a chair, my feet are touching the floor, they're flat, they're planted firmly enough. My backside is really supported, my sits bones are on the chair. Now, in a case like this, if you think you need it, you may want pillows behind you, or different kind of chair where you feel like your back itself is supported. But I'm okay like this. You're going to start by placing a hand on your belly and a hand up on your chest, and learn some breathing to just help find yourself, really find your own physical self in a different space. When you inhale, you want to really expand your belly out, and on the exhale, really contract those muscles and expel as much of that stale air as possible. And as you do this and you get used to feeling your lower belly area expand, then you're going to move the breath up so that it expands the lower belly and then the middle of the chest, so that you feel your rib cage come out and really bring some fresh air into your lungs. It's natural whenever we exhale that those lower deep core muscles, the muscles way inside the abdomen, deeper than the superficial muscles, and the pelvic floor muscles naturally contract on an exhale. So there are cases in doing a yoga routine where you really want to pull those in even tighter and lock them. That's called a bandha. So in certain movements, if your instructor, whether whoever that is telling you to exhale and engage your core, they mean the whole core. They mean all the way down to the base of your pelvis, and really engage that there. And another type of breathing, which I think geeks will love, is the Ujjayi breath, which stands for ocean breath. And it's another audible sound. And to me, it sounds like Darth Vader breathing. So it's like fogging up a mirror, but with your mouth closed, and you feel that on the inhale and exhale. So it makes a noise as you slightly close the back of your throat. And, you can practice it with your mouth open and then close your mouth. I find that the ocean breath is very calming and really forces my mental energy to center. It really forces me inside to tune out whatever is externally distracting or causing any kind of anxiety. And it's not necessarily going to stop a panic attack, because a panic attack, when you're in it, any breathing is good. Let me just say that right there. A lot of people sort of go, oh, have you tried yoga for panic attacks? Well, there's learning breathing itself is helpful. And then hopefully after you've done pranayama yoga, the breathing yoga, enough, then maybe the next time you do have a panic attack, or even start that early fluttering, you start to feel like something's coming, maybe then it's a good time to try the pranayama, and it will just help you stave it off. Or if it starts to actually happen and go full blown, then it might help you. You'll hear that voice inside of your head saying, oh yeah, I know how to breathe. Yep, just keep breathing. And honestly, and it doesn't matter if you're doing a deep breath or an ujjayi breath, try to normalize the breath just so that it's not shallow. So from this point, once you find yourself seated and comfortable, and if you have been sitting all day, you can do those breath exercises standing up. That's, I like being in mountain pose for breathing exercises too, and that's just simply standing with your feet a comfortable hip width distance apart, palms forward, or you can have your palms in Anjali Mudra. And really feel those feet stabilizing you, that you're in a safe space, that you're taking the opportunity to take care of yourself for a few moments. It's not a very long session that you need to give yourself time for, especially at something like a trade show or Comic-Con where the hours are so long. You can just get away, take 20 minutes. I really, wish that conventions would do this more and more. And so maybe Garden State Comic Fest will be a pioneer in geek yoga at Comic-Cons. Because people do need to just remove themselves from all that stimulation and have an opportunity to just be quiet and be still. And if you are advanced enough and can do that at a vendor table, then, it's amazing. It's amazing. It takes a long time, I think, to get to that point in a practice. So, whether you're standing or seated, we're going to start working from the head down for some easy stretching. Dropping the chin down to the chest. And just let gravity engage with the weight of your head. And it pulls it down. Your shoulders are not hunching up to your ears. Your shoulders are down. Feel those shoulder blades like wings. And this is something that I think geeks, especially if you love to draw wings, geeks will understand. Just like your arms are big wings, and you spread them out and you just lay them across your back, retracted. So with your shoulder blades, keep them down, even if your neck is moving. And slowly bring your chin over to the right shoulder. And come back to center. And bring your chin over to the left shoulder. And remember, you're keeping your shoulder pressing down so that it's not coming up to your ear. Your shoulder is not going to meet your ear. And bring your chin back to center and lift up to neutral. And just turn it to the right. And come to center and turn to the left. And come back to center. And when you turn to the right this time, look down at the floor, take that right hand, just with the slightest little bit of pressure. Some of you might not even need it. And you're going to take your left hand, press it away and down to feel the stretch along the left side. And then you're going to slowly and incrementally rotate your head so that the left ear is moving up and the right ear is moving down. And then come back to a neutral neck position. And repeat that on the left side. Turn over to the left and look down. The right arm goes out and down. The left hand can come up to the back of your head. And be very cautious of any pressure applied to your neck if you've ever had any neck injuries. For example, right here, I'm not going to put extra pressure on my head on the left side like this. And you're going to come up to center and release and give those shoulders another big couple circles up and then all the way back down. Take our hands all the way up to the ceiling. Dropping the left hand down the back, your right hand's going to reach over to the tricep. And when you do this, again, you don't want your head coming forward and compromising your neck. Your head is in a nice neutral alignment. Your neck is still keeping you tall. So what you're doing is you're pressing that shoulder back and the elbow is also pressing back. That way your arm has the space to move. And again, while you're doing this, just periodically remind yourself to engage your core so that you stand or sit nice and tall. Hands come up and switch sides. The right arm is going down. Bring those hands up. Hands come forward, palms together. Interlace the fingers, press the palms out, and then bring these arms up overhead alongside your ears if you can. And you're going to lean over so that your palms are pressing up at the same time. So it's really up and then over to one side. And then come back up to center. And continue pressing those palms and over to the other side. And come back to center. And bring those hands down. Shake it out. Roll the shoulders back. And take the arms out, palms forward. And you're going to cross the right elbow under the left. And wherever you end up is fine. So if you end up here, that's totally fine. So you're going to keep going in the eagle arm twist. Try to reach for your thumb, or maybe you can clasp your fingers. And what you're going to do here is, there's something about being in a twist like this where you start to close yourself in, and it gives you another opportunity to really, hi Gus, find yourself in center. Gus wants to get in on it here. So close your eyes, and you're going to lift those elbows up. Your chin comes up at the same time. Oh, really? Okay. And take a couple breaths. And bring the elbows back down, chin comes down, and you're back at center. And for the right arm being away from you, I guess is the best way to say it, or underneath, I'm going to shift over to the right a little bit to stretch out the left shoulder. Come back to center, and then you can unwind, shake that out. Arms come back up, and you're going to do the opposite way. So left elbow underneath the right elbow, and twist as far as you can. Raising the elbows up, the chin comes up. One more breath. Return to center. You're going to shift the elbows over to the left side to give your right shoulder a stretch. And release that. Shake it out. So now I'm going to bring you into reverse prayer mudra, and there are levels or different variations to do this. And it's really important to constantly work on opening your shoulders if you're hunched over a lot. So this might be really challenging. I'm going to turn around just so that you can see better. So one option is you can bring your hands behind you and reach for your opposite elbows. Another option is to clasp the hands, interlacing the fingers, and you can try whatever way you just naturally did that. Take them apart and switch the grasp just to give your fingers a different experience of which thumb is on top. And I'm just going to slide the hands down and away from you if you can, or just down alongside your spine. Really feel that chest expand. And if you want to try another option, you can actually try reverse prayer, reverse Anjali mudra. And never go past your edge or hold a pose much longer than you think you can. It's great to challenge yourself, and it's great to explore where that edge is, but you don't want to cause any injury. So before we get into spine movements other than the neck, let's talk about the pelvic bowl here. And that's because the pelvis is shaped like a bowl. So for most of us, we anterior tilt, we tilt forward without even realizing it, and that puts strain on our lower backs. So that's why there's a lot of talk about engaging those deep core muscles, bringing the tailbone down, and it's feels like a little bit of a lift here in the front. So you want to find that neutral pelvis and get used to that. And that way, when we start bringing more movement into the spine, you'll start to recognize where neutral really is. So I'm taking my feet a little bit apart here. That's just to come forward, and if you want to do this sideways on your chair, you can. If you feel like you need to hold onto the chair for support, for example. I'm just going to do cow and cat, but seated, so that your tailbone goes under, your chest and back pull towards the back. Belly button is really like pulling, like there's a string going through your torso. And chin comes down, and then into cow, reverse it, chin comes up, tailbone and hips go back, and the chest goes forward. Hey Gus. Yeah? Gus is a big fan of cow and cat. He's really good at a downward dog and up dog too. Alright, yeah. So you can do cow and cat standing and supported by the chair. Oh, thanks for cleaning your butt on video, Gus. Living his life. And come back to neutral. Yeah. So now to do circles in a chair, you might feel a little bit restricted, but you're going to lean forward with the chest and then around as if, you know, there's either some kind of brownie batter or cupcake batter in that velvet bowl, and you're stirring it. And when you come down to the front, you reverse the circle. And again, you can do this standing, you can do this if you're sitting on your mat. Hey, silly pants. Yeah, okay. And now to do a forward fold in the chair, you're not necessarily going to get the same feeling in the hamstring unless you straighten your legs out. And they don't have to be completely straight, because especially if you tend to lock your knee, that can cause injury. So having a slightly bent knee is fine and probably safer. So hinging from the hip, instead of, like we tend to when we bend over in Western culture, we tend to bend like that and bend our torsos. Hinge from the hip to come forward and then reach down. Now, you know, a forward fold, if you're seated and using the chair for support, just keep your hands there, so that way if you feel any dizziness or if you feel unsteady, the chair is just there for you. And come back up. Now another problem area for people who sit for a long time, or if you've done something that's like a lot of climbing and walking upstairs, then you want to stretch out those glute muscles. So you're going to cross the right ankle over your left knee, keep your leg at a 90-degree angle here, and for this, like I said, I'm short, so I'm going to just prop up my foot a little bit, because you still want to feel supported. So you're going to hinge at the hip and come forward wherever you get to that point where you feel it in that right hip area, the right glute. And it's really calming to do this in the chair, because you know that you're not going to fall in any direction. You could do this as a balancing pose too. It's part of the standing pigeon, which can be very challenging. And come up and bring that foot down, and you're going to switch sides. And you might have completely different experiences when you switch from one side to the other. I know that my left hip is very different than my right hip. So remember, you're not here to judge your body, you're just here to become aware of it. And body awareness is a big part, because that way when you are using something like props, you know, you'll start to get used to, oh yeah, I need to stick a folded up blanket under my left knee but not my right knee, or something like that. And it just makes you really aware of what's going on, and that helps greatly if you go to then talk to your doctors and medical professionals. You can better describe the experience that you have inside this physical shell that we all have. So hinging at the hips, coming forward, and I'm already feeling this even though I'm not down nearly as far as I was on the right. And come on up. Okay, just had to adjust the lighting for a moment. So to pick up where we left off, you're going to find yourself in a, again, nice supported neutral seated position. And I'm going to prop up one foot on a block, simply because I'm short, like I said. I'm going to show you with a strap, a hamstring stretch, and you can substitute a strap with whatever you have. If you have a necktie or a scarf, that works. If not, you don't need the strap, so I'll show you the variations. So first, find yourself sitting nice and tall. Again, you want that pelvic bowl to be neutral, so a little bit of a lift in the front probably for most people. Bringing the right thigh into the chest. I'm going to wrap the strap around my foot and then press out through the heel. And you're just going to, keep your knee bent as long as you're feeling that stretch. And it's very safe that way. Let's see if Oliver wants to join. Hey, Oliver. If you are using a strap, I'm going to take the strap and put it in the right hand, in one hand. Make sure, again, keep sitting tall, support yourself with your left hand. You're going to open the hip up. Hey, Ollie. So pushing out through the heel and just give those hips some movement. Bring that back to center, switch hands so that the strap is in the left hand and cross over the other knee. And again, you can have it bent and first to find where's a decent angle for your leg, and then push through the heel. Without the strap, basically looks the same. You're gonna bring the leg into the chest. You can reach around your thigh, or if you already know that you're flexible, you can work your way down towards the ankle or the foot. Press through the heel. And then open up to one side. Bring it back to center, cross over. Back to center. And if you're holding way up here, that's great too. I'm going to bring that leg down, switch. Bringing the left knee in. I'm going to put the strap around my foot, sit nice and tall, press it out with the heel. A great option and variation to try with this is just lying on your back. You might find a little bit more movement when you do that. If you do lie on your back though, one thing to check is that you're not, like craning your head so that your chin pops up. Putting the strap into the left, opening up to the left. Back to center, switching the strap to the other side, crossing over. And removing the strap again. You can do that same sequence with supporting yourself. With just your hands. And if you can reach your toes, it's pretty great too. The key is that you're still keeping your spine nice and tall. Release. When you do a lot of seated hours, like typing and desk work, any kind of desk work, you'll find that these hip flexors can get really tight. So a good opportunity to stretch that area out is to do things like lunges. And a lot of people are like, oh no, lunges. It does require a lot of muscle strength to do lunges. So that's why if you are using a chair for support it helps to get you there. I'm going to, you know what, start on this side just because my block is down. Again, I'm using the block simply because my foot doesn't comfortably really reach the floor very well. You could use books, whatever you have around. I'm going to use the back of my chair for support, and I'm going to take that outer leg, which in my case is the left. And as that's moving, I'm engaging those deep core muscles. That way my tailbone is moving down towards the floor. The front of my pelvis is lifting up. Deep core abs are engaged. Chest and hips are facing the same direction as that front knee, and pushing out through the back heel. And if you continue to need support, you can keep your arm there and raise one arm up, or if you feel stable enough, reach both arms up. And as you do this, you're really lifting straight up and then arcing back. And slowly release out of that. Make sure that you're holding on for support. So again, you can do this standing. You just do the exact same movements without the support of the chair. I'm going to switch sides here, come way to the edge of the chair, hanging on for support, taking that outer leg, pushing it back, and I'm going to lift myself up this time just so you can get the same idea of what it is like without the chair. So it's here in case I need it. My front knee is not going past my ankle. It should be either over it or back from it. Putting a lot of support into that foot, grounding into the floor, pressing through the back heel, lifting so that this hip flexor gets a good stretch. And once I'm stable, I can, oopsie, there we go, I'm actually wobbly. Once I'm stable, I can release my hands. Hands can come up to the ceiling like this. Or you can experiment with those reverse prayer mudras, clasping the hands behind your back, clasping opposite elbows, or trying the reverse Anjali mudra. A lot of options here. If those aren't working and you still want to feel a bigger expansion in your chest, you can do goddess arms like this. And you just can breathe in so much more. And you can come out of that slowly and gently. Give yourself the opportunity now to catch your breath. I'm going to move my props out of the way and come up to show you options for downward facing dog, which again will help release the shoulders, expand your chest. So the great thing about using a chair is that you have multiple levels. And set back comfortably so that your arms are reaching for the back of the chair, whatever piece of furniture you have. Okay, so now I know my distance, and if you need to continuously hold the chair, then you just start closer and walk back. But if you know what your distance is, then let go of the chair. Arms come up. Move through heart center, and instead of bringing your hands all the way down, you're just going to get to the back of the chair. Keep moving your chest down. Adjust your stance as you need. And as you relax into downward dog, you, just like any pose, you'll find that as you breathe and are there, you can sink into it even more. Keeping soft bend knees here, chest moving towards the thighs, really grounded through all points on your feet. To come out of it, tucking the tailbone under, walking up till you're standing, supported, keeps you from being dizzy. To do a lower level, if you said, okay, that's great, I want to try something else, you can use the seat level of the chair. Arms come up, moving through heart center, prayer mudra. Hands come to the seat to hold you and walk back. Find your stance, hinging from the hips, and then bringing that chest down towards the thighs. Nice relaxed neck here. And if you're still okay and you want to just see what the experience is like on the floor, you can bring your hands down, step back a little bit more. Keep raising that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Look up at your hands, walk forward. Tailbone under, stand tall. Return to mountain pose. If you still have energy at this point and you want to keep going, you can do a warrior two sequence. Again, I'm putting the blocks here just from because of where my hips are in alignment with this chair. You can hold onto the chair for support and do this standing, or do this just like we did with the high crescent lunge. You're going to turn to one side. Make sure that your front foot, which will be the side that's on the chair, is stable and grounded. Hold on to the back of the chair for support. And this time, you're going to open out in the direction of the chair. So, for me, that's facing the camera. And you want to have the back toes this time pointing in the same direction as the hips. Whereas in high crescent lunge in warrior one, it was the front toes that we were aligned with. You feel this opening and spreading here. Quite a hip opener. And as long as you're comfortable, if you feel like you can let go, you can bring the arms up into warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2, looking over the front hand. And then you can enjoy a vinyasa flow here. Bringing the front arm down to the thigh, rotating the back palm up and over for extended side ankle. And return to warrior two. Reverse warrior, rotating the front palm up to the ceiling, come back down. And go back to warrior two. Repeat that on the other side. Remember your back leg, your toes are pointing in the same direction as those hips, opening towards the side this time.